Hello, good morning. You would ordinarily say TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. It's also Friday, January 5th, 2018. In Christendom, it's the last day of Christmas. So everything about Christmas should go to the back burner. And let's talk about this country. Welcome, I am Citizen Jones Hussein. This morning, Petroleum Products Supply Nuisance, another Senate summons. It was not remarkable, I dare say, to record another Senate summons on Tuesday, whereupon the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachiku, and the GMD NMPC faced the Red Chamber on the lingering yet embarrassing shortage of petroleum products in the country. The minister dropped a howler that government might allow marketers of PMS above the current regulated prompt price of 145 naira per liter. Did we see this coming? It will form the crux of our discussion. I have two gentlemen. The one is a public affairs analyst and politician, Honorable Adeboye Kalejaye. I greet you. Happy New Year.
Same to you, and Happy New Year to our viewers.
Tulu Lokpe Ogujobi is a colleague here. He is the energy correspondent. So he talks oil too. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
Yeah, gentlemen, did we see this coming? First of all, Honorable, this summons.
Well, it's becoming a recurring decimal that at the close of every year, it comes.
So we were waiting for this.
Whether we waited or not, in the last few years, it's been so. And why does it come towards the end of the year? So many reasons. One, there are some kind of higher demands in terms of everybody mobility, people making more journeys. Two, there is also an indication that every year when the budget proposal is coming, there are indications that the government may tinkle with certain things in terms of revenue generation, in terms of adjusting expenditure profile of government. So the marketers, the operators also wait. One, they start watching the lips of government. They try to see where is government going. They started hoarding. They will start to hoard so that if there is any sudden hike in price, it will not catch them. You see, the principle of marketing and sales is that if you have a drum of petrol and you bought for 10 naira, and there is a price increase to, say, 12 naira, it means that if you exhaust all that you have, and then you need to go and buy, you will need a much more capital to be able to make the same purchase of one drum of, petrol, PMS. So, because also that you want to be sure that you can still remain in business and be at the optimum level of performance, you want to hoard, so that if there are sudden increase, you can adjust. Also, you also want to make marginal increase in terms of, aggregating your income. To say if there is an increase and I have enough, I will sell for above the original price and make more money and then be able to remain in business. So blame the marketers, blame government, but the problem and where we put the doorstep, where the problem lies, is with the government.
Okay.
It's the government who must, as a matter of necessity, decide to run this country as should be run, to be able to ensure that we have, as long as we don't have refineries, as long as we go and import, we will
underline that. We'll underline that.
These are some of the issues.
Tulu, it's all about the politics of supply and pricing. Yeah. After reporting energy for a while now, are you able to come to terms with it? Are we damned at this point?
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, that's the national oil company in Nigeria, actually have their flaws when it comes to, we have to really identify that. And yesterday, the Minister of State for Petroleum and the GMD, you can see they were even talking from different sides. The GMD admitted that there was a shortfall. GMD was saying, no, they've been supplying. Even when this... Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, yes, please, Ibe Kachiku. He came out to say, there is a shortfall. While the GMD was saying, we have enough supply for 30 days. We have supply for 40 days. We have supply for 50 days. What we need to get here is, as of October this year, independent and major marketers stopped bringing in petroleum products because the price of crude was above $58.
Yeah.
Even our budget, the crude price is placed at $45 per barrel. So we're even making more money now because we're doing, as of yesterday when I read the news, it was 66. And immediately hit outside 58. Landing cost of petroleum products got to 170 naira.
Aren't you surprised here? If the price goes up, so why must...
Because we are not refining.
Oh, really?
We are not refining. We have to pay the bills. We are not refining. And at this time of the year, even the vice president identified that when he visited Apapa. This is the winter season, and there's more of the refineries are doing more of heating oils and all of that. PMS is secondary. So now we have to start like, we need this product. There was no proper planning by the NNPC. They didn't plan well for this season. Last year, we didn't really have the scarcity. I think year before we had some year, but I think there was proper planning for those years when we didn't have the scarcity. Now, when the NNPC saw that, okay, these guys weren't bringing in products, we are bringing in like 60, 70%. We can't meet up. Why not bring these guys back into this business?
That's the marketers.
That's the marketers.
Yeah.
Creating a window for them where they can get Forex that will be able to make them sell at 145. I can't bring in product at 170, and you expect me to sell at 145. It's clear.
It's okay.
You don't do business that way.
To get a lot less worried. Our business is to lay the facts on the table.
It's painful.
And brings to mind Honorable Kale Jaye,
yes,
the question of subsidy. Yeah. Both the Minister of State and the GMD NNPC almost were speaking from all sides of the mouth when it came to subsidy. The regime is here to stay.
You see, the question or what to address is the fundamentals. And when they talk about the fundamentals, is to say that every business person is in business to maximize profit. Secondly, it's also to understand that as long as governments cannot have local refineries, we will continue to be dependent on imports. Yeah. As long as we depend on importation of you know, all of these products, we must respond to market dynamics. But unfortunately, responding to the market dynamics, when there is the need for them to bring down the price of those products, when the market dynamics says we are making gains, price don't come down. When there are losses, price must naturally go up. So for a businessman, he will optimize his profits and ensure that he must make up and make his mark. So it's now to say that no matter how we shy away from subsidy, we may not be able to run away from subsidy. Otherwise, government is trying to, this government has attempted to bridge the gap by being a player in the market. But then they are playing.
Advisedly?
Yes, they are playing in the market. They are also importing. They are also intervening.
But they are monopolizing at the moment.
It's a monopoly. Yeah. And the essence of the monopoly was brought out of the fact that we're trying to run away from subsidy. Are you following what I'm saying? So, but then now that they cannot meet up, government cannot meet up, you understand what I'm saying? They need to bring in the marketers. And if the marketers are coming in, they must come in, and then you must be able to subsidize if you want them to sell at the control price, which is the 145 naira that is currently selling. But above all of this, we must understand that it is time for us to wake up as a nation. It's time for us to, for over 20 years, we have talked about the moribund refineries that we have in this country. Even if we had undergone building new refineries, we will have completed refineries. Dangote is building a refinery, and for a 5-year mark in 2019, it's expected that Dangote refinery will come on stream. So it means that it's not a rocket science. If a businessman can build the carts, so where lies our government effort? It means that we're going to perpetually depend on importation until when we have a local refinery that is not propelled by government, but propelled by a single individual.
For that matter, remain at the mercy of marketers.
Exactly.
For now, we don't have a choice.
All right. Now, the Minister of State, Tolu, suggested 3 models of
Yeah,
regulation.
3. Yeah, indeed.
Okay. 3. He talks about plural pricing, says marketers must go with the flow or follow the dictates of market forces. These forces sometimes are evil forces, in a manner of speaking.
Demand and supply. I don't think that will really be the way to go. That for me, I just personally, because the marketers, some of them might take advantage of this. Because bringing in products at 171, even because I had some trips, I went to DPR for some monitoring. We got some stations that were selling 200, 220. And they came out to tell us we bought at 180, 190. What do you expect us to sell? So the thing is, if they liberalize the sector, just because that's a little bit of almost letting them just do it the way, it might not work. Because they are saying that the NNPC will still be selling at 145, then other private stations can be selling at any amount. So you are left with your choice. I can buy from a filling station or go to an NNPC or maybe a major marketer. I don't think that will really be the way to go. I think I prefer one of the mechanisms he talked about, which is providing a window for them where they will get Forex, and they'll be able to access the Forex to bring in maybe a concessionary rates, and they'll be able to bring in products and sell at the approved pump price. Government cannot be a regulator at the same time be a business person around. It's all. It's too full. It's too full. So that is really a problem. And I wanted to just quickly say something. There was a chart presented by the GMD of NNPC. Clearly, that chart showed that there was a drop in supply. So I think the NNPC should just own up and let's just try and make things work and address this issues.
NNPC must go beyond somebody trying to keep his job.
Exactly. Not just saying that we have 30 vessels. Because what we are doing now is they bring in the products quickly, they distribute, they use some to bridge, we wait again for another set to come in. As I speak, I spoke to one of the biggest depots, I don't want to mention names because it's a private depot. Yesterday, they don't have products.
All right. Honorable Kalejai, we must go back to the starting blocks. In the Obasanjo years, that's from 1999, the story of the notorious Petroleum Industry Bill would not be complete if you permit this, the Nigerian Senate does not summon vested interests. And so they ascertain why the seeming cure-all bill has been asphyxiated at the Assembly. Am I making sense to you?
You see, everybody attempts to do his or her job.
Okay.
And that's the rituals that we have seen. It's a ritual. When there are problems, the House of Assembly, the National, and whatever, tries to live up to the expectations of their mandate because they have an oversight function to say why is A or B happening or why is C or D not happening. And so they interject in terms of invitation. But the question to ask is, all of these invitations, what has it amounted to? It just amounts to explanations about why Nigerians must keep on suffering. So they come in there and say, okay, this is what is going on. The National Assembly has no solution. The Petroleum Industry Bill, which is lingered for a long time, was meant to do a lot of sanitization in this industry. It has lingered on. Today is signed, tomorrow is not signed, because the Ministry of Petroleum
resources
is over-bottled in terms of responsibilities, in terms of control. The minister is too powerful in the hierarchy of operations of this system. And then we say, let's break it down. But we've not been able to do that. Then there is also over-bottleness in terms of federal control. As long as states are not allowed to, states should also, as is going on now, be able to do some kind of modular refineries on their own. There is nothing wrong if each state can embark on modular refineries so that we don't have to depend until when we have a holistic refinery that can serve the entire nation. So when
but
you talk of
that will be tinkering with the Constitution.
vis-a-vis
matters in the exclusive list and so on.
And the concurrent list and the residual list.
I
always know that.
Let's talk about the dream of now.
We're saying that for now,
yeah,
what to be done is very clear. What to be done is to ensure that whatever it will take us, we must have a systemic plan to come up with a national refineries.
Okay.
The existing refineries, they've spent so much money trying to fix the refineries. Let's have a plan, a 5-year plan to bring in 2 new refineries.
Honorable, I'm very glad that just 2-3 weeks ago, Tolu knows this, when the question of a turnaround maintenance was flashed before the Senate, they said, I beg,
yes,
we have heard this before.
Because we've been doing turnarounds and turnarounds and turnarounds, and what we hear is, I think the last calculation we had with, I think, Kaduna Refinery or one of the refineries, what we could dole out, the production capacity would just take Nigerians for 5 days. And we've spent billions of naira trying to turn around.
So we are talking about hefty interest. Have you heard this crazy thing?
Yeah.
No, hold on. Let me tell you. I've heard, I may be wrong, that some powerful Nigerians have refineries off our shores.
Yeah, heard that too.
I've heard that too. I want to wake up from the dream and then think straight, Honorable.
Yeah, you see, it's been alleged in some quarters, whether rightly or otherwise, to say that most of our leaders have refineries outside this country. And it's like the cabal that have refused to allow our power generation to succeed, those who are heavy importers of generators. That as long as you have a local refinery that is functional, the refineries our leaders, supposedly leaders, allegedly owned outside the country, they will not survive.
Yeah.
Because the local areas where those refineries are set up are not in that kind of large demand.
Yeah.
So obviously that is a theory that must be broken. Is it true or is it not true? Even if it is true, you have refineries outside this country. You understand what I'm saying? You can play in the market. You can play in the market. A local refineries will not deter absolutely operation from outside.
Otherwise, whether real or imagined, if those supposed refineries were built here,
yes,
they will still make money.
But when they are built here, there are indices of people being able to identify this refinery is owned by so-so person. It's subject to some kind of exposure.
Taking those supposed refineries out of our shores has not helped the speculation.
They are not helping. You see, the intention is not to help the population. You see, he said, go ye and underdevelop thy country. That's a hopoloid type of education that we're given by our colonial masters. The intentions of our leaders, unfortunately, some of our leaders are not favorable to the citizenry. Even if we steal money, which is not right, but then have we been able to invest that money back into the economy? You can generate employment.
Yeah.
But people are no longer investing in industries. People are stacking funds. They are stacking funds so that nobody will be able to hold you accountable. Whereas what is called currency is what is going. It's a going concern. That's why it's called currency. When money is stacked somewhere, it's no longer currency because it's not moving in circulation.
Okay.
So what we're saying is that I go back to say that what we should do is to apply the principle of paratimal optimalism in our check against corruption, to look back very little and to look forward. Why people are not investing in the economy is because everybody is afraid. So
of being found
out. Of being found out.
Okay.
So everybody stacks it. So we must say, okay, let's have a benchmark. Go here and steal no more. But we're going to
bring you the one way you steal.
Yeah,
go and
invest in your country.
But otherwise, the economy may be strangulated.
Okay.
You see, people don't understand what is called, mobility, transportation. Transportation is the totality of mankind. When you move from your bed to your sitting room, you have transported yourself from one spot to the other. So once your mobility is impeded, like we're trying to be impeded and stampeded in this country today, we're in serious trouble. Which employer, government employer particularly, will punish any staff for coming late to work?
Okay. Let me take Reverend Dominic. He's here. He's in Lagos. How do you do, Rev?
Good morning, Citizen John.
Good morning, too.
Yes, you have asked one pertinent question 3 times this week, and you did not get an answer. Let me give you the answer.
To which question?
Are we dumb?
Okay.
Ask a question, are we dumb?
Okay,
The
then.
answer is partially yes. How? I'm a preacher. I'm supposed to sound positive. Listen to me. The network is worrying. How could a nation that produced good oil for 60 years, at this 60th year, we're still talking about it, we don't have a refinery. Who caused us? A nation of this. When we were planning for takeover from PDP, I'm part of it as an outsider. We have a manifesto from FBC that we will refine, we will turn around our refineries in 6 months. That was what Lai Mohammed told us. That was what Mohammed Buhari told us. That within 6 months, we're going to turn our refineries, so subsidy will not part of it. Immediately we won the election, this is why we did not protest when they increased fuel from 86 to 145 naira. To give them money to turn around the refineries.
Yeah.
See, today, we are still talking about another monopoly. Moving on from NNP's monopoly to Dangote monopoly. By December this year, we're going to have another scarcity. What is that successing? Dangote refinery will start working and you put the fuel in 300 naira.
All right.
The question is either you want it or you leave it.
Reverend, Reverend,
woke up in the morning.
yeah, Dominic, I hope what you are, I hope what you have just, I hope, Reverend Dominic, what you have just said is not a prophecy. So, but Tolu, no, just a minute.
Okay.
It started by President Obasanjo, former President Obasanjo, being the substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources. There was a change under Jonathan. Now, President Buhari is the substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources. We thought that had a reason for being.
Well, I stand to be corrected. I think the president should just maybe get someone that could just take over that post of being the minister of, because there are lots of issues surrounding petroleum resources. We have OPEC meetings that the president doesn't attend. We have lots and lots of developments.
He has a minister of state.
Yeah, Kachuku does that actually. But you know, there are some very strong decisions that need to be taken when he has. Let's look at the issues around this PIB that we talked about earlier. The PIB's aim is to actually indigenize and address corruption, transparency in the oil and gas sector.
Especially the downstream.
The downstream, which everybody knows that it's actually, the level of corruption there is on the high side. But look at it, even at the moment, it's been broken into phases. We have the governance aspect, we have the host community aspect, we have the IOCs aspect, so we need somebody that can really take the bull by the horn, tackle these issues. The president has lots and lots of issues to attend to. Don't forget, we still have the Chibok girls. We still have the Boko Haram issues. We have plenty of things for the president to do. So why not just get somebody that will work with Kachuku, or Kachuku working with somebody, and they can actually get all these things fixed perfectly. And instead of us just believing that we have a minister of petroleum, our president, who just, I think what I believe happens now is the Barus of this world, the Kachuku just goes to give information and maybe acts with the information given to him. So somebody that is on the field, a player in the oil and gas sector, and we have lots of Nigerians that can do this. Intelligent, credible Nigerians in the oil and gas sector that can do this.
Let me take Sulaiman from Okota. Welcome, Sulaiman.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say my condolence to Ambassador Mamandaura, very loyal, honest, and a good man who has served Nigeria.
Okay.
May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
Well, my own contribution is that it's not as if we don't have means to get rid of all these problems. It is a pure politics. And they cannot tell me that federal government is not aware that the marketers are buying, or where they are getting this fuel is coming to them at 171, which they will make provision to let Nigeria know the position of where we are getting it. Can you see? You should have known that we need a uniform agreement, a practical solution in this country. Because sincerely speaking, the ministers, the presidency, the importers, they are all working hand in hand to achieve their goal. How long can we say that we don't have money to begin to refine our fuel in this country? How long will it take? Which of the governments will come and bring salvation to this nation?
Yeah.
We are suffering. Nigerians are suffering. And if you look at it critically, it's only the average man that is suffering. All of them have a means of where they will get their fuel. The federal government cars will never lack fuel. The state government cars will never lack fuel. Only an average man. Because if today there will be no car on the road, no buses on the road, it's only the average man that will suffer.
Okay. Sometimes you wonder if the so-called average man is somebody you see.
No,
if you can see him, does he hear? Does he know? Just a minute. Taking off from where he left off, how do we rationalize hoarding and diversion?
You see, I think the issue of diversion is becoming something a thing of the past.
Oh, you think so?
It's almost getting out of it.
It is still being diverted.
You see, the diversion thing is not really endemic as it used to be. Because
you're telling me now about a small problem and a big problem.
A small problem and a big problem.
A small problem.
You see, those are very infinitesimal in terms of, because the diversion is also made possible because when you have excess. You understand? Yes, let me explain to you.
Okay.
Now, the movement of petroleum tankers has also been impeded. The turnaround of lifting from depots had been slowed down by the maintenance work or repair works or construction that is going on in Apapa. Are you following what I'm saying? So if it takes you 1 day to lift, now it's taking you like 4 or 5 days. So your turnaround is also very limited. And then there is also a high demand locally. Even what you are taking to divert, may not even get as much as what you get, because every petrol station, if you allow, for instance, when I have stock, yes, government will monitor to say you must sell within limits.
I have a critical question for you, but let me please remind me when we come back.
Okay.
Samuel is in Ghana, Kumasi. Welcome, Samuel.
Good morning, all of you.
Good morning to you.
Morning.
Thank you. You are doing a wonderful job there.
Thank you.
I want to say that what actually is wrong with Nigerians, our leaders, you see, sometimes it baffles us, outside country, that even all these small countries in Africa, they are doing wonderfully well. Ghana, their refinery just broke down in the last 10 months. But as I'm talking to you now, the refinery has put together and started producing, one of their refineries. So what is happening? What's wrong with Nigeria? Is it that nobody has interest of that country at hand? Is it all the promise the APC made to of us that give us hope? The hope has now finally wiped away.
Okay.
These people supposed to even attend apologies. The APC is supposed to attend apologies to Nigerians as at now. Is it that we are fools?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samuel.
Your question.
I'll give you. If supply is that much, and according to you, diversion will not be a matter or a problem, how come the so-called black market will thrive?
You see, those kind of what you call diversion that translate into black marketing are as a result of scarcity. You see, the only
did you quite get me?
Yes, I get you.
Okay.
The only way to solve poverty is to make abundance available. For instance, if you have a toilet and then you put one toilet roll there, and people get there, they know that by the time they come back, they will not meet it because it will have been exhausted. Somebody is likely to take toilet roll and say, if I come back, I'll have something to use. But if you put like 10 or 20 there, everybody knows that anytime I come, I will have. You see, the only solution that we have, whether for diversion for hoarding or for, why do people hoard? They hoard because they know it's not available. Why do people resort to black marketeering? They resort to black market because they will go and sleep overnight.
And why do Nigerians patronize black market? We'll come back. We'll come back. And you are one of them.
Yes.
Godwin is reaching us from Milan, Italy. Godwin, are you there?
Yeah, good morning to you, Citizen John, and good morning to the two panelists.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for this discussion. There is something I quickly want to say here, very simple and straight. The reason why we are having all these problems for scarcity, corruption, whatever, is because Nigeria has not gotten her election right. What I want the federal government, especially the president, to do in this case, they should reform the INEC. Nigeria should go back to electronic voting system. A day you cast your vote, before the day runs out, you have your result, so that Nigeria can elect their leaders. Without getting this right, all this thing we are saying here is just nothing. Because people cast their vote after 3 to 4 days before they got their result. Where does those things work? If Ghana, South Africa, India can do this, then Nigeria can do it as well.
Yeah.
Not until we get this, our voting right, then we cannot get anything right in that country. Thank you, and God bless you.
Got you first time, Godwin. You know, he was trying to corrupt the discussion. I said so 2 days ago. What do I mean? It's not difficult to link what he has just said.
Yeah.
The question remains, do Nigerians really elect Tolu? Did you elect your senator? Well, you're a member of the House of Reps.
Well, I could have to answer that.
I'm sure we did.
Maybe a politician
I'm sure we did.
Yeah, so.
You see, the system
in other words, Godwin is envisaging a government of the people
by the people
who will work for the people.
You see, we need to get there. Whether we like it or not, you know, we have elected leaders. It's the question now, whether you have elected rightly or wrongly. You see, Shakespeare said, you can't read the mind construction in the face. You cannot read the mind construction in the face. Me, I'm looking at you, I can't say, oh, Citizen Jones, you are good or you are bad, because I don't know what's deep down in your heart. The Bible says that the mind of men are dastardly evil. Who can know it? That's what God said in the scripture. He said, the mind of man is dastardly evil. Who can know it? So, in electing our leaders, we look for some criteria to say, this should be able to lead us right.
Yeah.
So we have elected. Whether we have now elected rightly or wrongly is another question.
Godwin, we'll get back. Godwin also dropped the hint. The problem is not with casting your ballot. It is those who count the ballot.
Exactly.
Let me take you to Malaysia. Omotayo is waiting. How do you do, Omotayo?
I'm good. Good morning, Citizen Joe.
I greet you, sir.
Yeah, I'm also great able gentlemen that are making debate over there. They are talk sense. Even both the senator and the other guests, Uncle Tolu, I don't really know.
Omotayo, the man, if he was a senator, we would have knocked him here. He is an honorable, please.
He's giving me a promotion.
Yes, sir.
I claim it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, you see, let me contribute my quota to this morning issue.
Yeah.
You know, our problem, right, as many people have said, even the Honorable Minister said it on broadcasting yesterday, that before we can get our refinery done, whether the one they depend by Dangote or Nigeria one, let them talk to the central bank as they have said it. They should not leave this thing for major marketer to go and get this thing for us. If they leave this thing for the marketer, it is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Before we can get our refinery done. Another thing is that let our honorable, I said this thing last time, if you remember, our problem is our honorable. And she said this, there's a law that is supposed to pass, PIB or whatever law, that you can make enhance for the other contribution, maybe anyone that they have interest in to do this this thing.
Omotayo, we got you. Except Omotayo, I hope you are still there. What are you still doing in Malaysia?
I'm blessed. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I wanted to just quickly chip in something with regards to diversion. At the moment, it is really attractive to move petroleum products out of Nigeria. At the moment, even beside us, Niger and everywhere around here, a liter goes for like $1. That's like 350 naira. So because
that's at your own rate.
Oh yeah, that's our rate. Yeah, I think that's the way they do the calculation.
Okay.
I was with one of the top members of IPMAN and we spoke about this, and he said it's clean business. Once your tanker is out, you don't need to move it to your station. You don't need to buy fuel to generate to move to dispense. You don't need to pay your staffs. You don't need to stress yourself. They buy it whole and you make your profit immediately. But what causes all of this? Scarcity. When a product is not available, sharp practices will come up. Hoarding will come up. Because when Nigerians say people are hoarding, people can't hoard when a product is available.
Profiteering will come up.
Exactly. Heavy one. Because the man calculated it and told me on a tanker, using millions of naira, he told me
33,000 liters.
You could make on it. Instead of you taking it to your station, before you fill, there's no power to even drive your pumps. You have to fill diesel. You have to do all of this. And you don't have to go through that. You make cool money. So that is why, because the GMD and even the NATO man, that's the National Association of Road Truck, the truck owners, they talked about that yesterday, talking about diversion. It's happening. It is happening. But the thing is, sharp practices will always come up.
Tells you a lot, Honorable, about our porous borders.
Exactly.
Part of the problem.
Well, we have a henchman there who claims to have done a lot in terms of policing our borders. The colonel who has refused to wear uniform. So he is there. He says he's been a wonder boy. He's done what Petroleum could not do in terms of large revenue generation.
Does he know what Napoleon could not do? We'll come back to that. But let's take Judge Atikeja. Welcome, Judge.
Good morning, Citizen Jones and the panelists.
We greet you.
Good morning.
Please, the issue of the substantive petroleum minister, I do not think that is the problem here. Katiku is a minister. There is no difference between Minister of State and a substantive minister. The difference is in the functions they perform. As far as the cabinet is concerned,
so there's a difference. There's a difference. However minutes, there's a difference. But let's go on, Judge.
Yes, the Katiku is a capable hand to handle that ministry. What I think is happening there is the infighting between the minister and the GMD. If you check very well, you see that the time the shortfall came, which has now come to the open, was that period that they were fighting each other. Instead of arranging how to supply fuel to Nigerians at this time when they will need fuel the more. So that is not the issue. The Kachiku, as I understand, left a $1 million job to come and handle the job. Our people are valued abroad more than we value them.
Okay.
How can anyone explain that he cannot handle the Ministry of Petroleum?
Okay.
Are we going to import somebody from outside the country to come and do it for us?
I wonder.
Question.
Judge, it's like an overhanging fruit, I wonder. But if you prop up Kachuku to the status of a minister, does it change anything?
You see, there is also, we must make it very clear that there is a difference between a minister of state and a substantive minister. You see, because he also has alluded to the fact that because they were infighting, the GMD is not, very submissive to the minister of state because he's not a substantive minister.
Yeah.
Because the powers of a minister is so spelled out and it's very clear. There are no definite powers for.
So the GMD defers to the head of the president.
To the president.
Exactly.
Because the hierarchy and the line of reporting does not say he has to report first to the Minister of State. Except the minister, delegates those authority very expressly to the Minister of State, and then he can take full charge. But I agree with him that I do not see Kachuku as an incompetent officer.
Yeah.
I see him as a competent person. I don't see why he cannot become minister or a substantive minister. But the bottom line is that why do presidents want to keep that ministry to themselves? If the purpose is genuine, if the purpose is to ensure that the place functions well, I don't have problem. But then, if the purpose is just for them to hold on to authority and control, then it's useless. So if the president, being the Minister of Petroleum, cannot give us petrol, cannot give us all these products, then the essence is already defeated.
All
they
right.
must look at something, doing something else.
Let me quickly take Mazi Okorafor. He's waiting in Arochukwu. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Jones. Good morning, our guests.
I greet you, sir.
Honestly speaking, my brother, see, Nigeria, an oil-producing country, is saying up to June 2018, scarcity of fuel will continue. Now, you look somehow. We are talking about fuel. We are not even talking about kerosene and gas. We produce oil, but we suffer more than non-producing countries. Free gift to the. That was why I said in this state January that Nigeria should go and read the book of Sarah 7, from verse 1 to 17. Now, the question now is this. Where are those people that they were arresting that they say they are illegal producers? Can the government, this model find the why can't the government, whether they are arrested or done them inside bring them? Then they go and see, we have boys and girls who have petroleum engineering. What are their functions? We need all these people to come down to Nigeria and give us all the gases. When those people have petroleum meet those boys who are producing all these illegal deposits, we don't need to start looking outside Nigeria, because it sounds funny that we should wait till June 2018 before we show that it's full. Now, you ask yourself, the license we gave to all those people that we gave, both from Dick and Harry, they are all just within our circle, people who belong to Abraham to the son of Abraham. Where are they? Now, I'm still saying, we should do like Chinese people. Look, messages of our boys and girls who they put all these guys they should come, those boys and help us. Can't do very much. Gas is still scarce and kerosene, very, very expensive.
You have rubbed it in, so let's broach it. Kerosene is key here. There are more users, it sounds crazy, there are more users of kerosene than petrol, right? Wrong?
Because it's a daily use, like you also have petrol. I don't have the statistics, but maybe presumptuously, maybe. But the issue is that we're talking about scarcity of the entire petroleum products.
Okay, the whole chain.
The whole chain. The whole chain is in a mess. And except we have sanitization, except we have a cleanup, a clinical cleanup of all of this system. And I think we must begin to address solutions to all of these issues as we speak now. The solutions are very, very clear. One, government must give us a program of having a new refinery. Nigerians must demand.
New refineries.
Yes, they must demand. We must demand now a program of action.
However modular.
Yes, modular. A program of action. The president must address us as a nation and tell us that these are our programs to have refineries in Nigeria and give us a timeline. And we'll continue to check him by those timelines. That is one solution.
Not to dismiss what you said earlier on.
Yeah.
These big boys, you know,
yeah,
cabal or whatever you call them, must be dealt with frontally.
I think we can say very, very clearly that our president is not one of the big boys. So if he's not one of the big boys, at age 75, what else are you afraid of? At a certain age of your life, you must be afraid of nothing, because death should mean nothing to you.
Yeah.
And wealth should mean nothing to you. So
you only die once.
You only die once.
Not twice. I have Sylvester at K2 here. Sylvester, welcome to the fray. Are you there?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Let's go.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, we greet you.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's an interesting... Hello, I'm with you. I think it's an interesting conversation. It's an interesting conversation.
Ignore the whole back. Just go straight.
And I think we should move more in, we should think more of taking action than discussions. Oftentimes we discuss more.
Okay.
All right.
If you don't discuss,
how do you
identify? To look, if the Kachuku himself has admitted the shame of not refining crude oil locally. That admission, we cannot stop discussing.
Exactly. Many even say deregulation is the way out, but for now, I don't agree. Because deregulating a sector that is import-driven, it doesn't work that way.
You have had so many shons, liberalization,
democratization.
Exactly.
That,
you know.
yeah.
So when you say you want to, like we're talking about diesel has been deregulated.
Yeah.
And that's why long time. And that's why he sells 200 and something, because we are left whatever the marketers give us to. And we still import these too. So we can't deregulate being an import-driven economy. It won't help us. Because by the time we'll still have these shocks and it will affect us negatively.
Yeah.
The only way we can deregulate is when we refine. When we can refine, then we can now, locally, then we can now say, yes, fine. The regulation can really work. But if we don't do that, we'll keep on.
You hold the bull by the horns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't control. See, I was telling someone yesterday, what if the price of crude gets to about $100 per barrel?
So what happens?
What happens? That means petrol, a liter will be selling for more than 200 naira. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? So I think there needs to be more energy, more talks about making our refineries work. I also don't buy the idea of solely depending on Dangote refinery. I like Dangote as a person. He's a good businessman. He's gotten into everything. Yes, it's good. He has a refinery. But I think government's refinery should also be side by side with his refinery. We shouldn't just depend that, oh, everybody now believes that by 2019, we're going to be free.
And you only hope that if the refinery of Dangote comes online, we won't be sitting here discussing the same thing. But let me quickly take Emmanuel in Ilorin. Okay, the connection. See,
the irony of life,
yeah.
let me tell you, Citizen Jones, is that it's a joy for us as Nigerians, very joyful, that the price of crude oil rises in the international market.
Yeah.
Because that's where we have the larger chunk of our spendings. Yeah. It should bring us joy. But on the other side, it's bringing us sadness. And why? Because once the oil price goes up, because we cannot have refined locally, it means that our prices of petroleum product will go higher locally. It's a reversal of the entire dynamics.
Marketers must also make money.
So what should automatically bring us joy is bringing us the reverse.
We've recovered the call to Emmanuel in Ilorin. Let's go. Yes, Emmanuel?
Morning.
Yeah, that's your bedroom voice. Please wake up. Let's go.
Good morning.
I greet you, sir.
I greet you, Mr. Jones, and your guest.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy survival.
Okay. The issue of fuel supply and other these things, I don't think it borders much on the leadership. It borders more on we, the citizens, in making things happen. I was at a filling station and where everybody was keen to enter into the filling station, some were taken through other places. And we'll call on President Buhari to come and correct that situation. It's not done.
Yeah.
We can do it ourselves. Okay, we want to build a new refinery. What is the probability that that refinery will not go the way the other 4 ones are gone? So we need a holistic approach into doing things. The killers of such refineries are still within the system. Let's find them out, remove them, then we can have a better refinery. Otherwise, the new one coming will also flop the way these 4 are grounded.
Many thanks.
So that's my own contribution.
Oh, we can't play what you have just said down. Honorable creative followership. I said earlier on, you are guilty of patronizing black market. Not you as Honorable Kalejaye. You will promote it. If there's a delay, please, good job, please.
For me.
Creative followership. Can we overstress it?
We cannot overstress it. Let me say this, that's why I said that we are not very demandful of our government. We're not making demands. We discuss. And like, contrary to what the contributor said, a philosopher said, what touches all must be debated by all. The wise, who has nothing to say about those who govern him, will suffer the reign of idiots. So these conversations are very germane. But then what we are doing is that we're not making demands. Rather than demonstrate against petroleum scarcity or be on the street to say the price must go down, let's demand a program of action. That's the first thing to demand from our government. A program of action. If we have the proverbial dream of 7 years abundance and 7 years scarcity and 7 years abundance. And then what did they do in the periods of abundance is to save for the raining days. So if we have a timeline, if we have a timeline to say we need to endure for this period of time, and we can see a program of action that is systematically followed, and we can see that in the next 2-3 years we're going to be over it, Nigerians will be it. So we demand a program of action. Number two, as Nigerians, we must also be, when we talk about creative followership, we must also be able to really make things the way it should be. If they say, physician, heal thyself, government is not in the cloud. Yourself and myself make up what is called government. So what do we need to do as citizens? One, ensure that simple laws are obeyed, to ensure that even when there are scarcity, we ensure some orderliness.
And these laws must be obeyed top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Not the other way around, Tolu.
Yeah, well, I think for me, tentatively, I think since our refineries are not working, we're going to make moves to actually make that work.
You are closing now.
Well, yeah, the government should just try and, number one, the movement of petroleum products. For the truck to come all the way from the north and come here to load, to me, it's unacceptable. They should make depots around those areas work so that they could do the bridging and all of that there. And two, they should create a window, if possible, for genuine marketers. We know there are some fraudulent ones.
Tolu, you mean doors? We don't need windows are too limited.
Well, I think doors then for marketers to actually access Forex and bring in products, credible ones, so that they know that this person is a credible marketer. Let him bring in products. For now, we need it. The NNPC cannot meet Nigerians. They cannot meet the needs of Nigerians at this time.
30 seconds.
Yes, to say that our minister, whether the minister, substantive minister, or the minister of state, must give us a weekly report about what they are doing, what is to be done, and what Nigerians must expect. In fact, of course, even a two-day report, not even weekly, so that the government must inform the citizenry, and then the government must make the citizenry understand what is going on. Information.
Otherwise, the so-called 11th commandment, contrived by a cynic, he said, blessed are those who expect nothing, for they shall not be disappointed.
Yes.
We thank Honorable Adeboye Kalejaye for coming.
Thank you.
No less so to Lulokwe Ogunjomi. Many thanks for your time. But let me say this in closing, folks. There's the story of a 28-year-old boy who went to a palmist. The boy said, read my palms. I'm 28. What's in store for me? The palmist said, okay, between now and when you are 30, you'll be poor. You'll remain poor. And the boy said, okay, 2 years, I can't wait. Please see into the crystal ball. What happens after 2 years? And the palmist looked for a while and returned, after 30 years, you'll get used to poverty. I guess we have a choice here. Should we get used to this way we are living? I think we need more than a palmist here. I'm sorry. The idea was not to rattle you. But let me say, Yori Folari returns on Monday.
Oh, good.
So my sitting here will be limited, but you'll see me every once in a while. Please dream this country, think this country, and let's take this country to safe shore. Bye-bye, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.